All right, so I said I would do a follow-up video on the actually, we're just going to say Wynn's warranty today wasn't so bad to deal with. Although they didn't cover everything, at least something was covered. So kudos to them. It's a pleasure to be doing some type of business with you. Now, the other warranty company for the engine repair,
they'll never cover an engine.
every time we call in for an engine repair, they don't cover it. I feel like
They say, well, we're not saying we won't cover it, but you have to do the 20-something hours of...
No. You have to jump through 25 hoops to get there.
But you gotta take it all apart. But they don't cover that unless if the engine ended up being mechanical failure.
So let me explain that. Mechanical failure. So I said, okay, we did all the maintenance items to try and revive the engine, which is not covered, which we already knew that. And then now we're getting into bore scope the engine, inconclusive. Compression test verifies mechanical failure. And he says, well, what failed? The engine's worn out. That's why it failed. But what caused it to wear out? It wore out. That's what the problem is. But why? Is it rings? Is it this? It's worn out. The cylinder bores are worn out. The pistons are worn out. The cylinder walls are worn out. If there's no gouging, right? The valves are all sealed. The engine's worn out. You made me do a compression test, bore scope the engine, make multiple waste of time phone calls for you to still not accept that the engine's worn out. So I said to him, I said, well, what do you consider worn out? He's like, well, I can't tell you that. I said, do you consider a rod hanging out the block a mechanical failure? Yes, but why did it fail? From worn parts. That's why rods fly out of the block. From worn parts. Worn connecting rod, worn crankshaft, worn cylinder walls, all that from being worn. That's a fact, Rachel. If the tolerances are worn out, they can only be so worn out before they don't work anymore. He said, well, we don't cover mechanical wear. Then you should have just said that. If you don't accept that the engine's worn out and it's low on compression, why? Because it's worn out. And yes, engines wear out at 100,000 miles if you don't take care of them and don't have to have necessary mechanical failure.
Well, that was a 15 Santa Fe with 85,000 miles on it. But that goes to show how...
But hold on. Jump through this hoop. Jump through that hoop. Jump through this hoop. Jump through that hoop. Jump through this hoop. Jump through that hoop. Why don't you just say you're not going to cover it instead of making us do this? Their goal is to make you jump through all the hoops before you just say, fuck it, I'm done jumping through your hoops. So for them, if they have an engine problem, just fucking wash your hands of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a waste of time.
No, I'm not doing it anymore.
Like, how many hours do you have into us going through diagnostic processes and time? Bring it in, bring it out, freeze frame data, this, that, blah, 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 beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. Calling for parts, calling for prices, pricing an engine, doing all this stuff. It's all a waste of time. You know how I can just eliminate all the waste of time? It needs an engine. And if you don't believe me, come out here and try and start it and drive it. The rod's hanging out the block. But why is the rod hanging out the block? Because something wore out inside of it that caused the connecting rod and piston to come out the side of it. Something. But mechanical wear happens. That's why you have engine failure. And what they're trying to do is get you to say the key words that say, nope, that's not covered. Oh, well, that bearing seized up because there's no oil. Well, that's on the customer for lack of maintenance. Because then they would ask you for every oil change receipt in the country for this car. But I can't say that. The engine was full of oil, full of coolant, misfires on every cylinder, GDI engine, not maintenance 100%, but who's really doing that today? And average engines today can't make 100,000 miles. Can't make 100,000 miles. Either they're consuming tons of oil or they mechanically wear out and fail because people aren't taking care of them properly. But the warranty company in their contract does not consider
Give me 2 tags.
worn out a warranty issue. My LS60 engine, when I purchased it, and I did a